So about a month or two ago, I made a video explaining why I like using Arch Linux and the pros and cons associated with the operating system. I'm currently in the middle of working on a Gen 2 video in a similar format because I'm starting to transfer over to Gen 2 for personal reasons, and I'm starting to change how I use Linux as a whole. That's not to say that I'm ditching Arch, because I still use it on my workstations. I still have it installed on this computer. More on that later. I'm still using it on my servers, and it's still one of my favorite distributions. It's definitely in my top 3. And for those who know me, you can still find me active in the official, unofficial Arch Linux Discord server. But one of my main reasons for trying to move away from Arch is because I want to have my user repository properly recognized by my package manager, or mainly use flatpaks for things that don't really need to be integrated into my system. Also, I wanted to use Gen 2 to be cool, and I wanted to challenge myself. But the ironic thing is, I was making this move, this happened. Many AUR packages under the names such as Firefox Patch Bin, Google Chrome Stable, Zen Browser Patch Bin, basically names that may seem innocent to new users, were infested with remote access Trojans, otherwise known as rats. If you're not familiar with rats, these type of executions can result in your data being stolen, your system being spied on, your system remotely being taken over, or much, much worse. Here's an example according to the Linuxiac article on this issue. The Google Chrome Stable package would use the package's package build to point to a file called Google Chrome bin.install, which then in turn launches a script named Google Chrome Stable.sh. This program then runs a Python script that downloads an external resource, which then launches a malicious execution every single time Google Chrome is run on the system. For obvious reasons, this is very dangerous, and there is identical behavior found in the other packages that we named in this video. Luckily, the Arch Linux developers were fast in removing these packages, and if you did happen to install any of these packages that were infected, it is highly recommended to change all of your passwords on your computer and reinstall Arch completely. Basically go completely nuclear. But I just want to make it apparent that this isn't an Arch Linux vulnerability in terms of the actual distribution. The AUR, while it's a major selling point of Arch, is an optional repository that takes extra steps to get access to. The entire reason why this is news in the first place is because these type of attacks of this scale rarely take place in the AUR. And especially if you're conscious and you know what you're installing, you're most likely not going to get hit by this. That being said, there are numerous security conscious steps that you can take to prevent your system from being exposed to a potential future AUR attack. So please treat this video as a PSA in regards to being safe with the Arch user repository. The most worrisome part of the security vulnerability is that most people, myself included, use helpers like Yay to install most, if not all, AUR packages. The Arch wiki explicitly states the proper steps on installing packages with pacman from the AUR. The steps involve manually downloading the package, inspecting the package build, basically checking to see if the package has any vulnerabilities or does anything to your system that you don't want, and then using pacman-u on the downloaded archive to install the package. The wiki explicitly states that AUR helpers are not supported, meaning they are expecting you to read the package builds and manually build these packages yourself. But with that said, you don't have to completely ditch AUR helpers. An AUR helper named paru is a clone or a fork of Yay, but paru forces you to check the package builds of every package you install. With this, you can find and see any vulnerabilities or any executables that you may not be familiar with and become a bit more involved with keeping your system secure. I've switched to paru on all of my Arch systems, so I can have the extra step of viewing all package builds before installing anything from the AUR. Skimming through package builds is a necessary step to keep servers and my workstations safe. Another security step that can be taken is using flatpaks instead of the AUR for certain programs and packages. For example, Discord, Spotify, Brave, and even Zen Browser can work just as well as flatpaks instead of binaries from pacman or the AUR. Certain applications that relate closely to your desktop environment or window manager, that can be handled by your package manager. That makes complete sense. But certain Electron-based applications might be better in a flatpak than by your system's package manager. Flatpaks are containerized and require certain permissions to access certain parts of the system. Now again, there might be certain instances where it might be better to have certain applications installed by your system's package manager. Like there sometimes might be a certain bug in the Flatpak version where the Pacman version might be better. And Discord is provided by the Arch Linux core repositories. So what I'm mainly trying to get at here is do not rely so much on the AUR when you can use flatpaks instead. And when you do have to use the AUR for something, you'll have a low AUR install base so that you can easily manage your AUR packages. It also makes things easier to troubleshoot as well. Don't completely avoid the AUR, but if you're able to use flatpaks, use them instead. Anyways, guys, here's a short video. Sorry for the delay. I do have a lot more coming, so just bear with me. And thank you all for the support. See you guys soon.